Alright everyone, there's an archived link in the description. This is fairly important for anyone that uses, YouTube regularly. And apparently there's creators called the Nelk Boys. And they were making videos encouraging people to open their gyms back up, to go to parties, basically to stop listening to the COVID fear-mongering. Because the restrictions at this point, really, they're not really saving any lives. If we look at the differentials in cases with Sweden, certainly here in the Netherlands, certain other countries that are basically open for business, we compare different U.S. states, there's really no effect by all of these restrictions except to hurt the economy. And I would say to cause depression, suicide, alcoholism, attendant problems with boredom. People are fucking bored. You got millions of additional people out of work. They've got nothing to do. They can't go anywhere. They're not even allowed to go and meet with their friends half the time. You're causing excess death. You get 10,000 kids in the third world dying of starvation due to food shortages right now each month. The unforeseen consequences of bringing the world economy to a screeching halt for several months. But these guys, apparently they were to millions of people, larger users, and I don't know anything about them, but again, link in the description, you can follow it up on your own. We're encouraging them to open gyms back up in defiance of certain states' orders to basically open things for business. YouTube weighed in, and they said, well, we've terminated them from the partner program. So now I believe that blocks them from having AdSense, number one. If you're in the partner program, there are certain benefits you get. Like if you make a complaint, it gets like fast-tracked and stuff. If you get an algorithm wrongfully banned you can get, an appeal going through quicker usually if you're in the partner program. Like I am by default, anyone over 100,000 subs I think is a partner or is at least eligible. I think you have to file off a little form if I remember correctly. I can't remember if it's for just the program itself or for the play button. Because you get a play button too. And by the way, YouTube occasionally won't hand out the play button if you hit that threshold. Now, they probably can't get their next one if they get one. And here's the thing. This is YouTube policing off-site behavior. That's number one, because this material was not being posted on YouTube explicitly. Number two, the slippery slope now will kick in, and YouTube will very soon begin banning people off the platform for off-site behavior. So, like, you made a naughty tweet, it doesn't conform to YouTube's TOS, and so now you don't have a YouTube channel. That's the natural next step. You can expect that in the next TOS change, maybe the one after that. They will push that out. I think it's dangerous for the platform. Again, as someone who's put more than a decade of effort into the platform, appears before hundreds of thousands of people on it every single day, I think I have a reason to weigh in on something that could potentially affect the platform itself. Again, because my content is generally just libertarian stuff, I don't worry about getting banned anywhere. But I worry about people I watch getting banned, and I worry about the platform's self-harming. I worry about the platform pissing off enough large users that it becomes destabilized, that it starts hemorrhaging millions of users, and that all of the effort that I've put in on YouTube or any of these other larger platforms, the older tech, that it is essentially useless, that it gets erased. Now, it's not like I can't uproot and use other platforms. I'm approaching 100,000 subs just on BitChute. The engagement levels are similar. The audience levels are quickly rising up all over the internet, especially on these alt-tech sites, Library rolling out Odyssey and all of these other things. That's wonderful. But when you're using a platform that you've been on for the better part of a decade, it makes sense to air your grievances when you see something that clearly is not a good idea. YouTube still has more brand loyalty from its fans and user base than sites like Twitter and Facebook that have already begun to do this. Part of that is because YouTube is less censored than them. The censorship is large, and it is growing, but it is still less than Twitter. It's still less than Facebook. This gives them a distinct advantage, and to YouTube's credit, in many instances, they've been hesitant to apply different layers of censorship. Even outright coming out publicly and denying that they're going to engage in certain types of practices because of potential backlash from their user base, which is good. When I see them removing people from the partner program for the sin of suggesting that businesses should be opened back up, that doesn't really make sense. I think they should be opened back up too. I'm not going to encourage people to violate restrictions explicitly, but I will certainly encourage them to protest them. I will certainly encourage them to fire politicians that are engaged in fear-mongering about COVID, Because it's clear, if I look at Sweden, where everything is now strictly voluntary and there is no effective lockdown of any kind, when I look at their case totals declining precipitously, when I look here in the Netherlands at the lack of panic, nobody wearing masks and gloves except on mass transit or in an airport or something like that, with social distancing rules kind of sort of lackadaisically enforced in government buildings, let alone anywhere else, and I see that there's no massive jump in cases, there's no crisis, the pandemic is dying down. When I compare different U.S. states, when I look, there are some U.S. states that don't have any restrictions right now. Their case totals are no higher. They told us Armageddon was beginning in Florida. Florida's case totals have been declining now for weeks. Why do we need to be afraid of this to the point where we're literally censoring people off of the internet for challenging the dumb status quo that's already been removed by numerous legitimate nations? We're not talking about some third world microstate with a dictator with no economy. Sweden is a significant nation. The Netherlands is a significant nation in the sense of banking and diplomacy more than maybe military might or output. You've got U.S. states. Florida is one of the major states. The restrictions are pretty barren. Texas is a major state. There's not a whole lot of restrictions there. California, meanwhile, has massive restrictions. There's no differential. In fact, I think California has, at this point, worse case totals. India's got huge numbers of cases. They tried to lock things down, and they've completely fucking failed. China, meanwhile, has opened things back up and claims they've managed magically to get rid of the epidemic. It's because they're not testing anybody. They're certainly not forthcoming about the test totals. There's no differential. So the lockdowns are useless. They haven't done anything. They told us that we had, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, or whatever the slogan was back in March. And we did that. Okay, we crushed the curve. Now it's time to go back to normal and stop acting like a bunch of fucking chickens with their heads cut off. And for YouTube to begin deleting people out of the partner program for the sin of off-site behavior is goddamn ludicrous. One of the greatest advantages of YouTube is that it hasn't policed off-site behavior unless it's criminal in nature. There's nothing criminal about telling other people, that they should protest restrictions. Of course, if they're partying across the state and openly flaunting them, of course, potentially that's a finable offense, but it's not a crime in the specific sense. What exact crime are they committing? They're breaking lockdown restrictions. Oh my God. What's the charge? Have they been convicted? Why is YouTube acting as a jury then? I think that personally, tech sites should be banned from affecting users until they've been actually convicted. It's like with Rittenhouse. They won't allow him to have a GoFundMe. He hasn't been convicted of anything. Meanwhile, the felon holding an illegal firearm that was trying to shoot him, he's allowed to have a GoFundMe. They even share it out. They even talk about it on Twitter. Oh, this hero that tried to stop the shooter. Bunch of fucked up shit. That's about all. Peace out.